go.
Even if we're able to get a fix here, I think this might help us in the engagement in the next fight. Ultimate comes out with Mr. Speed. This still has a chance. He could turn this fight by himself. He's able to get 3 there. Yep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another week of Carroll College Overwatch. Tonight, we have our Carroll College Saints playing against Texas A&M at C. I was here last week. My name is Brady Clark. I played on Carroll College's Overwatch team for a few years, and I am back with my regular host, Josh Mansfield.
What's up, guys? Did not play with Carroll Overwatch team. Just full-time commentator and caster. You know, that's all I'm doing for you guys.
He did go to Carroll, though.
I did go to Carroll. That is true. Carroll is my alma mater. I am an alum. I did not play on the Overwatch team, though.
So yeah, it should be a great game. Josh wasn't here last week. I told him about how great the game went, though. We 3-0'd, which was very exciting. And Carroll really didn't even lose a point, which was also very exciting to see. It was a big improvement, I feel like, from last semester when they played. We saw a lot more coordination, very good target priority, and all of that. So it was great to see that. And
I mean, here's a big part, Brady, and I obviously didn't watch it, but let's talk about a key difference from last season to this season. The consistency and continuity of the team plays a critical role because there isn't the same smoothing out period that was necessary last season. Carroll got pretty hot by the end of the season and was playing really well towards the later half of their season. But it was early on that they kind of came out the gate a little bit slow. From the sounds of it, that's just not the case this time. And I think it comes from a team that gets to come back and be a consistent team that has the communication down, that has the timing, that feels the rhythm of the fights in a way that they are now familiar with. And that just is such a valuable experience that is obviously playing out in an important way in this season.
Yeah, 100%. And I think we really saw that last game too, where it seemed like they knew every single cooldown that the opponents had when they were up, when they had been used. And I did talk to Bruv after the game, and he said that that was a really important part of their gameplay. That's something they had been practicing a lot, so it was great to kind of see it pay off. And we do have a few key things for them tonight. Bruv told me that their keys to the game are going to be winning the first exchange, which, as we talked about last season, and Sean and I talked about last week, actually, winning the first exchange can be really good to setting that pace, getting that confidence up, which is really important in like a long 3 of 5 for Overwatch matches. And then the second thing that they wanted to do is continue to improve their target priority, which I think we saw last week was excellent. You'll be surprised, Josh, to see how much has improved since last season, honestly. And
I'm
then
happy to hear it.
the final thing is ulting on time. Last week was a little weird because I'm not gonna lie, Carroll was kind of rolling, so the ults came at weird times, and I was also running the stream, so I was spectating and casting at the same time, and I was new at that, and so I felt like the ults were coming at really weird times. I think this time they're gonna focus more on using ults at the very beginning of team fights to kind of establish an early presence and to get advantage early. Also, I will not be the one spectating the game tonight. We generously have Sean Clark, my brother, who helped out last week. He's helping us out again, and he will be streaming the game and spectating for us while we get to do all the commentating, which should be really great.
Listen, having an observer gives Sean some love in the chat, because Sean as an observer is just such a. I mean, you saw it, Brady. It's not easy trying to run the stream and talk about what's happening, and keeping track of everything. So big thanks to Sean for that. The one thing I want to talk about the ults is this is kind of. I think this might be like the defining feature of Carroll's Overwatch team. I remember, like, very distinctly, very vividly, last season there was a fight where they commit ults in a way that I was just like dumbfounded, absolutely flabbergasted at the choice of ultimate investment. And then all of a sudden they turn the fight and they're able to win it.
Yeah.
But then I've also seen them commit ults where I'm absolutely flabbergasted, and it's just a completely cosmetic ult. Nothing good comes from it. and so I think that Carroll is and has used ults in a way that is slightly unpredictable. It's creative, and while that's valuable, it's important that they get the timing and pacing of the fights right in order to maximize those ultimates. I really think that Carroll getting value out of the ults seems to make or break their team, because even if they're down in team fights, they are one of, I think, the most successful teams at using them to come back, but sometimes it just puts another nail in the coffin. So I'm interested to see if we're going to see a little more conventional ultimate timing, or if they're just going to continue playing a little bit by the seat of their pants. And it's a strategy that has worked out, but it can feel like a, almost like a swing for the fence strategy. Interested to see what kind of Carroll we see today.
Yeah, 100%. I do think with Bruv saying that they want to be using their ults on time, we kind of have an emphasis on, or at least Carroll's focusing on that, and they're aware of that. And so I think hopefully tonight we see them commit ults at the right time, and they're able to get a lot of value out of their ults, right? Because Overwatch is such an ultimate-centric game.
Yes.
It's such a huge deal. Kind of like Marvel Rivals, actually. But it's really... 6v6 is coming back to Overwatch, so it'll be fine. But, I mean, the ults are just such a key part, right? Like, it's something you build up to, and then ultimately it should be winning team fights for you. And I do think that there are sometimes that Carroll gets like, okay, we can clutch this if we use this ult, but then it comes out just a little bit too late to actually be able to capitalize on the value.
A couple other notes is, Lizard really likes to lean into the Mercy ult, not a ton of value, right? That's right. Another instance. You have the occasional like Diva play that we saw a lot last season, not a huge ultimate value in most cases. So it's interesting to see, because I think Carroll relies and who they prioritize oftentimes are sometimes characters who aren't necessarily ultimate driven in the same way as other characters can be. And so it'll be interesting to see what composition looks like this week, and to what extent they are kind of focusing on that. But I think it's going to be a critical element, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it looks like we're getting the lobby set up already, which is a great sign. One interesting thing is that Carroll actually is in a different league this year. So last season they were in a sort of more diamond ranked league, and this season they're in a bit more of a gold plat ranked league. So I think that too will also help Carroll in that they're playing people more around their skill level, because most of the team is gold or plat. And then combine that with the effective communication and the team bonding that they've had over the last season. I think that they are really looking to like get a championship out of this bracket.
Yeah, absolutely. To that point, and just to clarify, right? It's almost, you can think of it in the sense of like playing in D1 versus D2, right? Like it's an opportunity to match up against perhaps schools of similar size, similar skill levels, in order to prioritize kind of quality of competition. That's big for Carroll, and I think that's an awesome opportunity for them, without a doubt.
Yeah, one other important thing to note for tonight is the hero Ashe is actually banned.
Oh, okay.
Because she currently has a headshot glitch where if she crouches, she can't be headshot. Which is a bit of a problem when you're playing a game of Overwatch. It makes her a lot better in sniper duels. So I believe she will be banned tonight, and she may actually be banned for the rest of the season, is what Paxton told me.
Unless a hotfix comes in, I'm sure.
Unless a hotfix comes in, and a new season is supposed to be coming out soon. So hopefully they fix that. Right now, our spectator is showing us some ranks, and it looks like their tank is about a gold 3. So I think that that'll be about pretty fair for Carroll. We're doing the coin flip right now. So game should be going here soon, but I think it's going to be a good match. I'm excited to see how this ends up going. Looks like right now we're having some problems in the chat. Carroll always does this. They always do this. They're like heads or tails, and then the other team it looks like they called heads and then it landed tails, which Carroll always wins the coin flip, which I think is a little suspicious. But then the other team said, I meant tails, my bad. So we'll see who ends up winning.
It looks like I think they're giving it to Carroll. Carroll is now like, I think in our casting career's 20-0 in coin tosses. So big question mark here.
It's a little suspicious, right? Because they're the ones allegedly doing the coin flip, and they always win the coin flip. I don't know if that quite makes sense. It's just because they really want to play Ilios, you know?
That's right. Give us Lighthouse or give us death.
Mm-hmm. And it looks like we're going to be doing the same maps as last week. So that starts with Control, and then I'm hoping our spectator will open the chat so I can see what the rest of the maps are. Okay, he's helping me out. Yeah, it's Control,
Hybrid,
Flashpoint, Push, Escort. Perfect. And the loser will pick the next map after that. So, you know, obviously if Carroll gets first pick, they're going to pick Ilios. That's what they always do.
There it is.
And yeah, we have the official Ilios call.
Ilios it is.
And I think that's critical because like they said, they want to win the first engagement. And I think with Ilios, they play that map a ton. They've won that map a ton. They feel confident going into it.
Because they play it first in every game of Overwatch that they play.
Because they always win the coin flip.
That's right.
I will say right off the bat, I'm just noticing that the tank for the enemy team, Photon Dragon, has only an endorsement level of 2, which I think means that we have a potential toxic player in our lobby tonight.
All right. Hey, wait, let's not start slinging accusations.
Yeah, okay, you're right. I shouldn't. Photon Dragon's been very nice in chat so far. You know, maybe they're just missing out on endorsements. My endorsement level is probably not that high.
Listen, come on. If you play tank, you probably don't get endorsed very often because it's always your fault, right?
That's true. It's always you're not making enough space. Right now. You're not drawing enough aggro. You know, it's always on you.
Granted, I played 2 games of Overwatch to get ready for this tonight, and both of them were tank diffs. So I didn't endorse my tank, you know.
So you weren't tank is what it was.
Yeah,
so it's always tank's fault. Right.
It's always tank's fault.
It looks like we're gonna have Lighthouse first.
Love it. I love Lighthouse for Carroll here.
What do you like Lighthouse for Carroll?
I think that it's 2 things, right? Number one is it does have the brawl element that is so critical to, I think, Carroll's typical strategy, but it's paired with the flexibility for maybe not like a Widow pick, for example, but Ashe or a Sojourn or a Flyer, like an Echo. Like all of those are incredibly viable picks in Lighthouse, and I think that flexibility is where Carroll thrives. Carroll's not your mirror matchup. They don't want to just like square up and play, you know, what everyone else wants to play. They typically will play kind of a varied team composition, and I think that this map gives them the opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and we also saw them play a lot of it looks like we might be having some game problems here early on. But
reloading map.
It seems like Carroll likes to play a little bit more of a poke this year. We saw Bruv, and we saw it there too, but Bruv is been playing a lot of Sojourn, and Constant Rhyme has been playing a lot of the Cass or something along those lines, kind of trying to protect Benny Boy's Ana. So I think we're going to see them try to play that. It's interesting now that we're switching to Well. How do you think that affects how Carroll's going to approach this first point?
I think that Well is actually one that you can continue to play a similar, like a similar strategy. It doesn't have quite as much range, but the Sojourn Cassidy picks, they're completely capable of playing on Well. It looks like they're going to roll out on the same composition as before, as they were planning on Lighthouse. Ruins is honestly the one that I start to get worried about for Carroll. Which, guess what? You only need to win 2 out of 3, so it doesn't matter. We don't care. But I mean, here it is. We've got the Junker Queen with the Cassidy Sojourn, the Ana, the Mercy. It's a little bit of poke with some brawl. I love it. I think this is Carroll's style through and through.
Yeah, it's also a very interesting comp coming out from Texas A&M. I mean, we've got the Winston with the Pharah and the Reaper and the Lucio Ana backline. I think that the opposing Pharah is going to have a really hard time into this competition, right? Because they've got so much hit scan potential. And I'm not really sure who the Winston's going to be able to die. Probably Benny Boy.
I mean, I guess, but again, like you talked about, the Cassidy's there to protect, and it's not like the Junker Queen's gonna go far. I mean, Junker Queen is a monkey counter. That is the right. Here it is. There it is. Photon Dragon's dead already. First engagement, nice and easy for Carroll. And I just think that Carroll's composition just plays perfectly into this. Carroll's got all the answers. I also don't love the Lucio pick. Lucio's not going to get a ton of value for the Winston. The Lucio's not going to get a ton of value for the Pharah. There's a lot of things that I just have question marks here out of Texas A&M.
Yeah, 100%. And I'm going to put us back on the title screen really quick. I need to fix something with the game audio. So hopefully, I just turned it up. Hopefully that helps everyone hear it a little bit better. But jumping right back in, Benny Boy picks off Photon Dragon kind of late there, and Brud's able to pick off the Lucio. So now Texas A&M is really kind of staggered coming into this next fight.
Yeah, Texas A&M is swapping over almost immediately to the grind now. It's only at 20%. I mean, it was sort of 2 team fights, but more just one and a stagger. And now the Rhine comes in with the Sombra. I think this is a significantly more competitive composition out of Texas A&M.
100%.
The supports make sense for them now. And it's going to be interesting. I think Mr. Ski is going to have to be playing a little bit more careful because he's not going to get the same value with the tank in his face now.
Yeah. And that being said, I mean, with the nano on him, he's a lot more aggressive and able to play a lot more off.
And there it is. I think they probably could have staggered that Ana just a little bit more, but that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, it doesn't super matter.
Sure.
But this is a really strong start from Carroll.
Great start from Carroll. Carroll's coming in with a pair of ultimates, the Sojourn and the Lizard Mercy ult. He's got both support ults over on Texas A&M. It's definitely favored for Texas A&M here. They commit to these early to try and get in positions. Instinctively, Brub's going to be able to get enough value. Oh, there's one! All right.
A lot of ults coming out from Carroll right now.
I mean, it feels worth it though. It's 80%, and if they can stop the grind from getting away, that's basically game, right?
Yeah, 100%.
That's got to be it. Ryan's gonna come back. Like, he might get close by 99, but they committed every ultimate into that. They nanoed the Ryan to no effect. He used Shatter, no value. The beat didn't even make it through choke, and you know they do able to touch it with film breath. But yeah, Carroll's been wrapping this up nice and clean. So
yeah, and Brub's been lighting it up with those right-click headshots, been able to get a few picks pretty early on in fights with those. I think the beat came out a little early from Texas A&M, honestly. Like, I understand the wanting to take position, right? But I just think when you're walking into that many ults, maybe they didn't know they were walking into that many ults, but they were walking into so many ults that you probably want to use them more defensively, like in response to the Sojourn ult or in response to maybe even the Junker Queen ult, just to give your team that survivability.
I agree. I think that's fair. Lizard is very clearly just pocketing Bruv here, and damage boosting the right click ults or the right click beams, and it's making a clear difference because Bruv is just absolutely lighting up the kill feed.
Yeah, 100%. And I will say though, Lizard died what, twice that round, sacrificing their life for Bruv. So shout out to Lizard, keeping it down, keeping it together out there. And like someone's gotta go down, right? Like you can't go the round without letting your opponents get some kills.
That's right. That's right. Full swap again from Texas A&M. We've got the Sombra still, but after that, it's the Ball, Sojourn, Juno, Kiri. Again, though, this goes back to the point that the monkey is like, who's the dive target? There is. I mean, that's who dead immediately. Who do you dive in this top from Carroll?
Absolutely insane anti from Benny Boy there. Got so much value. And then a sleep onto, I think it was the Ball, also gets a lot of value.
Yeah, it's this dive strategy just does not make sense into Carroll's composition. The pair of the Ana as well as the Cassidy, and the fact that they're going to play just right on the hip of Mr. Spee just makes this such an odd choice in composition that I just don't know how Texas A&M expects to get value.
Yeah, and I think the thing is, like, maybe Texas A&M is really trying to get on Benny Boy, right? Because I think if they could take out Benny Boy, like, Benny Boy plays such a critical role right now. But Benny Boy is just on them with these antis and the sleeps, and then as soon as Benny Boy gets jumped, right, it's immediately calm to the rest of the team. And it's dealt with.
And that just shows the team coordination. Because you're right that, you know, Benny Boy is the one that you need to win in the dive. But the combination of Constant Rhyme having the flash, Benny Boy's both of their cooldowns, and the fact that Mr. Spee is right there to answer, it's just not a successful dive anytime. And the stagger here on the Ball, and there it is. That's the Curie as well. Carroll's at 50%, and it's going to be at 65 before they have a full team fight again.
Yeah, I'm putting back on the title screen. I've been notified that the quality's a little low, so I'm going to try and fix that really quick. Okay, we're back. But we have a switch to the Mauga now, which I think is maybe a better option, but I do feel like it's just a little too late at this point.
Yeah, too little, too late. Definitely.
Just really phenomenal plays from Carroll. I mean, Bruv is in the back line ulting, being able to pick off the team as Mr. Spee gets a nano and pushes into the front line and basically bodies Photon Dragon.
Yep. Hack complete. Sombra's going to try and touch here. That is the only chance that Texas A&M have of continuing this game.
Yeah. And it's tough too, right? Because as soon as anyone walks in, I feel like Benny Boy is on them with antis. And now Mr. Spee gets to come in with the Rampage. And there's no Kiriko Suzu to heal or get rid of the anti-heal.
And you have to know that that's there. Like, you have to defend it. And I mean, that is just absolute, utter domination through. Congratulations, Carroll, on just an excellent first map. We've got a couple technical things that we're going to work out, so we're gonna take a quick break and then we'll be back in a second.
All right, we are back, folks. We're gonna try and fix a few things here. I'm gonna jump in and stream. So we'll see what happens.
We're just messing around with managing different roles, and so what you're gonna be seeing now is you'll be following Brady spectating for this game. We're just gonna check and see if that does a little bit better quality in terms of the frames per second. I just want to give you the best product possible, obviously. So
yeah, and we're also trying to dual stream to YouTube for the first time, so I'm wondering if that might be bogging down my internet or anything. So we're gonna give this a go. I'm gonna spectate. We're gonna see how it works, and if it doesn't fix the problem, then might just have to not stream to YouTube, honestly.
yeah,
But we'll figure it out. So Carroll wins the first round. Texas A&M is now taking us to Kings Row, which is exciting. We've seen Carroll play Kings Row before, and they've done a great job. Carroll does get to choose whether to attack or defend first, and they will be attacking first. So I think Carroll's going to want to come out here aggressive, keep that momentum kind of going, and we'll see what happens.
It's funny that you talk about Carroll's strength on Kings Row, because it did not used to be their strength.
No.
It used to be a severe detriment. I think two things have happened. Number one, I think Carroll's addressed some of their deficiencies. They got taken to Kings Row. I remember the first season that we casted them. They were getting taken to Kings Row game after game after game, and just absolutely getting toasted because of it.
Yeah.
And so Carroll makes, one, I think, a priority in getting better at Kings Row. And then the second part that's important is that I think the meta has changed slightly, and that has given Carroll a flexibility to play a variety of tanks. You see over on Texas A&M right now, the Rhine, May, Brig, Ana, Sojourn. Like, wow, talk about OG Overwatch. You know what I mean? Like that's the standard comp. Carroll has been able to match that ever since you really have had kind of the Ramatra elevated in the meta, and I think it's going to be a real good opportunity for Carroll here.
100%.
Brub's on the widow.
Yeah,
Brub's
Brub takes
on
a
the
pod
widow.
shot, but I think we're going to see a switch.
Come on.
Not as exciting. I like to see the Ramatra here. I think that's going to be a great counter into what Texas A&M is breeding. I think that's going to give them more flexibility without us having to see the Mr. Spee Reinhardt, which is something that nobody wants to see.
That's right. If Spee gets pushed onto the Reinhardt, just GG's, have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, then we know we're in trouble.
Constant Rhyme just absolutely obliterates. And then you got Benny Boy, who just holds his own up against the Sojourn in his face. It's a clean first fight win. In less than a minute, Carroll has first point captured and locked
Nice.
up.
Yeah, great start from Carroll there. We're going to jump in with Benny Boy. I mean, Benny Boy, I think, has been playing kind of out of his mind tonight from what I've seen. Just getting a lot of value out of the antis, a lot of values out of the sleeps. I think that's kind of making the big difference for Carroll tonight.
Yeah, completely agree. Those cooldowns have just been instrumental.
And Photon Dragon gets really low again here. I think that's just such an aggressive play to be kept up there while Mr. Spee is kind of in your face. Mr. Spee is walled, but is able to pop ult.
And there it is. Here comes the Ramatra ult. With Photon already being down, Mr. Spee's just able to walk for free at Texas A&M. The Sojourn's up top, dies to the Genji. Bruv playing great. And again, this goes back to the discussion on Ilios about Carroll's flexibility of a meta, right? Spee is obviously playing this brawl, but you've got a Kiri and a Genji that's pairing with it, which somewhat divey, and Constant Rhyme and Benny Boy are just, two peas in a pod killing it right now. I'm loving this from Carroll.
I do too. The Bruv Genji is pretty interesting. We're currently watching the Bruv Genji over on mainstream, and it seems to be getting value. It's just a lot of right-clicking, but, he's doing his thing. Ooh, great dash there.
Dragonblade will be on board here. Interesting to see if they commit it. We do have the Kiri ult first committed in with the Blizzard coming out from Texas A&M. Carroll's got a meter to go.
Yeah. And they're just able to walk it in there, yeah.
Didn't even have to use Dragonblade.
Yeah, we do have a Nano Blade coming up, so we're definitely going to want to jump in with Brub's perspective. I mean, right now, Mr. Spee is just able to hold such an aggressive front line, though, that I think he's getting a lot of value. Oh my gosh, which number is he? Oh my god, he got bodied. It's okay. I didn't show that on stream because he got bodied.
They notably do not commit the nano into that fight.
Yeah.
They choose to hold that and send just like the vanilla Dragon Blade, which is kind of a weird choice. I mean, vanilla Dragon Blade hasn't been good since what? Sparkle embarrassed everybody in his rookie season.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting too because I feel like the blade comes out when Bruv is kind of isolated. Like he's very by himself. Yeah. Not really much help, so the nano couldn't even get to him. We do have a nano now onto Mr. Spee as well as the Annihilation coming out. I think this is going to get a lot of value.
Well, it is answered though with a Shatter, Nano, and the Briggle, and none of it matters. Carroll withstands 3 ultimates with just the Nano Annihilation, and that's plenty for a full team wipe.
Yeah, we do have Texas A&M now matching this Ramatra, but I mean, Mr. Spee is just pretty good at it.
Yeah. Whenever, remember how we talked about Carroll doesn't like to get forced into a mirror comp? Mm-hmm. Carroll also is the best at mirror comp
100%.
when they're playing their style.
Yeah, I think the individual talent on Carroll is really shining in right now. Like, Benny Boy is having an incredible performance on support. Blizzard did a great job that round as well. I mean, that Kiriko rush really helped them to get to second point. And Mr. Spee, just a great performance on the tank. Bruv, I don't have anything good to say about Bruv this map. I'm not gonna lie. But that's how it goes sometimes.
4 minutes. 4 minutes. All the time in the world. Carroll has just a great push. And I think you're right that the individual talent of Carroll's players are so phenomenal. And the other thing that's important, you know, we talk a little bit about this meta and this kind of these odd metas that Carroll likes to play, a little bit unique, a little bit different. Of course they're going to win any mirror matchup where they force their opponents to play their game.
Oh, God. Oh, God. He heard us talking.
Carroll, feeling feisty and doing well, has decided Mr. Spee. They've decided to play a 4v5 essentially, folks.
Yeah, might as well just count Mr. Spee out.
Listen, I don't think Bruv has a problem with that right now. The way he's playing.
Yeah, I mean, the way Bruv is playing, he's not the biggest problem.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Let's see what happens here in this attack. We have a big switch up from Texas A&M as well. I mean, we have the Bastion and the Junkrat now, so I think that's going to bring a lot more poke. That's going to put a lot of pressure on Mr. Spee, especially his shield, which could cause a bit of a problem. But I do think that the Mei will be able to provide a lot of backup in that case.
No, I definitely agree with that, but it almost feels like they read into this Rhine play, because this is just a much more difficult comp for Mr. Spee to be playing into. I get it before, but right now I think he's just going to really struggle to get close enough to value out of the Rhine.
Yeah, Bruv is able to pick off the Bastion. I think Bruv goes on a little bit of a flank there and now has this wall that's opening up a lot of space.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Bruv is able to go on this flank. That really makes a big difference for Carroll in that fight. Mr. Spee is super low.
So deep. He is so far into their spawn.
Someone check this guy's ego.
I cannot believe he gets out of that alive.
Yeah, that's disrespectful.
He has no business being alive right now. He's at 47 health.
Yeah, Mr. Spee, when you watch this back, that was BM. You didn't deserve that.
Another early pick. Blizzard, it's a dart, I guess, onto the Junkrat.
Yeah. Bruv does have ult here, as well as a nano, so I think we're going to be looking to see a Blizzard as soon as they walk in. But we do have Constant Rhyme jumping in early with the Ramatra ult, or the copy on the Ramatra, I mean.
Yeah.
And yeah, Carroll's just cleaning up right now.
And there it is.
Oh my god, don't give him a 4K!
Oh my
goodness. Oh my god, he doesn't deserve that. He can't keep getting away with it!
Important question. Is Carroll sandbagging in this game?
That's kind of what it feels like to me. Like, that's kind of what it felt like last week, and that's kind of what it feels like this week. I think they really want that championship.
Yeah, I guess. The Juno Ray comes out along with the Ramatra Annihilation. The Blizzard though answers completely coordinates off or separates off the rest of Texas A&M, and there's just no value out of any of those ultimates.
Yeah, I mean, they are able to pick one with the Bastion early on. But I mean, then you get the nano onto Mr. Spee and he just runs it down. There is a switch to the Malga, so I think they want to put even more pressure on this Rhine shield and probably the Mei walls as well. I don't think that's a bad switch, honestly. Especially because the rest of the team's a little bit pokier, whereas like when Carroll was running down on the Ramatra, they had a little bit more forward aggression.
I think the choice to stay on the Brig is simply out of the fact that she finally has the rally, but we've only got a minute left, and Brig is just not the right support pick here for Texas A&M.
Yeah. And Carroll wins that fight off of Benny Boy throwing in a nade and being able to get an anti onto the enemy team Juno, rip 15, and able to clean up that kill super early on in the fight, which takes out so much healing because they just have that Brig otherwise.
Right, exactly. Rally isn't committed, so we have Rally and Tire on the part of Texas A&M, but they're going to be walking into a Shatter, a Copy, and a Blizzard.
Yeah,
final fight.
Which is going to be tough. I'm jumping in with Mr. Speed right now. That's a great fire strike onto the Tire to stop that. We also have a duplicate into the Juno so that Carroll's got even more survivability, and Speed's able to clean up 2 with the Shatter.
And there it is.
Let me just say right now, if I was in this lobby, Spee is getting bodied on Ryan. The wall is basically going to stop Texas A&M from touching it all, and there's also now a Blizzard in their spawn, and they get to throw in the nano at the very end, and that's going to be an easy cleanup for Carroll, and Carroll's going to get the second map as well.
Devastation. This is somebody call the police because I just witnessed a murder.
call the ethics committee for this league because I don't know if it's ethical that Carroll's playing like this right now.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's a really great performance from Carroll.
Play. Yeah. Bruv just killed it on the Mei here. I love that swap. Obviously, I mean, I am an enjoyer of Mei myself, especially in Pro, you could say.
Yeah. I think it could be helpful to get a little bit of commentary from our expert Masters analysis, Sean, who's also been running a little bit of the stream tonight. So let's get Sean to jump in here and give us a little insight on what he thinks has been going so well for Carroll tonight.
Yes. I think what the Overwatch people have been doing well today. I like to call them Overwatch people just because I don't like judging anything. So, but I think they've been applying good pressure. Mr. Speed got out of position a little bit there. He was kind of throwing. But that's what he does, it seems like, a little bit. He played Ryan, but I don't mind the Ryan pick. They're trying to counter with so many counters. Junkrat, Bastion, great counters, just could not break through that shield. He held his ground. I think Saints Overwatch people are holding the ground well and applying pressure when the pressure is needed for this tournament.
Yeah, thank you for that, Sean. We're going to be jumping into our last map here. Potentially last map. I should be saying last map. Whoa. Who said that?
Respectful.
Oh, sorry, Texas A&M. I'm sorry, Texas A&M. We have New Junk City. This is a pick by Texas A&M, but I think this actually really plays into Carroll's strengths.
Yeah, it does.
Like I feel like the Junker Queen's gonna go crazy on this map, and we know Mr. Speed's Junker Queen is super good. And I mean, Soldier's got a bunch of crazy angles on every point of this map, so I think we're going to see Bruv Soldier. We did see, I didn't get to tell you about this, we did see some crazy switch-ups last week. We got to see the Benny Boy Sombra.
Okay.
I was told that we will not see that again for a while, so you really missed out last time, Josh. But, you know, hopefully we get to see that again at some point. It looks like they're going to play serious, though, for this last map. We're going to bring out the Hazard for Mr. Speed. That should be interesting. We haven't actually seen him play the Hazard yet. And we're going to see the Genji from Bruv.
Hazard is so, like, you're right. They do play the Junker Queen, but Hazard is just so beefy.
Yeah.
As a dive, well, maybe is Mr. Speed changing?
Yeah, what is Mr. Speed? Is Mr. Speed just standing in spawn?
Yeah, he's just throwing. Okay.
This is just your average controller player right here, to be honest. Like, this is kind of what you expect from your controller players.
The batteries died, you know? Look, Bruv's gonna get a ton of value with no shields in his way. He is just gonna be able to farm damage. Bennyboy gets an early pick onto the Juno, but Mr. Speed goes down early. I wonder if they're going to make a switch here.
Yeah, I wonder too. I mean, Mr. Speed gets knifed in by the Junker Queen and is be able to get picked up by the rest of this the team. And so I think that now that means that Texas A&M is going to be able to get this first point because they're just able to make so much more space with that Queen as they're missing that Hazard now.
Yeah. I don't hate the Hazard pick in theory. Hazard really does have a lot of survivability in kind of a silly way. And the one shot, I mean, there it is, right?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
exactly what I was speaking to. The big question mark that I have is the Queen Reaper going to be enough to melt the Hazard quickly? But it's undeniable that he is going to put in just immense amounts of damage though very quickly.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we see there how much value the Hazard can get, right? First point, he kind of gets pulled in and doesn't get a whole lot of value, but then this time, Hazard's able to jump in there, jump on a target, and eliminate them super quickly.
Honestly, though, I kind of love the idea of, like, you swing for the fence and you either strike out or hit a home run, because if you have one super prolonged fight, that can be an entire flashpoint you've done.
100%. Oh my gosh. Bruv got a kill with a nano blade. One whole kill with a nano blade. Way to go, bruv. You might be the greatest Genji of all time.
The disrespect to Bruv right now is just unreal.
Listen, well, Bruv was popping off first game, but I think he's doing a little trolling right now.
Carroll is just rolling, and you are just obliterating Bruv.
I mean, we gotta talk about
unnecessary.
something. We gotta talk about something. Like, we're jumping in with the tire right now. Let's see if they're able to capitalize on this. I was going to say that the Junkrat actually managed to get all super fast, but the tire gets blown up and just not a whole lot of value out of that one. Yeah. And Lizard brings Kitsune Rush, which is going to be able to help Carroll clean up the rest. Despite Lizard going down, I still think that they'll be able to get enough value to win this fight. That being said, Texas A&M did flip. I don't know when that happened, actually.
They committed. The Moira came in with Coalescence and dropped onto the point, and Carroll just kind of played around it, and that gave Texas A&M the flip. Carroll should still win this fight.
But it's getting a lot scrappier than I thought.
It is. The inability, there was a critical decision halfway through the fight where Mr. Speed looked at the Juno, looked away, chose to go after the Junker Queen instead, and didn't win the fight. And that was, I think, a critical misplay.
And
because
Carroll
if you focus
loses.
the Juno instead, Carroll loses the point. I think the choice to go after the Junker Queen and lose and not go for the Juno was the reason that Carroll lost that point.
Yeah, and it was interesting too because, I mean, I didn't see the point flip, but as soon as they have point possession, I think you gotta refocus not on so much chasing down, but being able to pick off the supports or something to be able to flip the point back, right? Because they were able to build up that 45% super fast.
That's exactly a great point there, Brady. Because the point of the Hazard is not to brawl the Queen head to head, right? It's to take a value and advantage of the opportunity to go after those supports. And if they just try and engage in a head-to-head fight like this, just like right here, Mr. Speed stands and tries to fight with the Junker Queen, and it doesn't work out for him. He needs to do a little bit better target selection, or I would like to see a swap over the Junker Queen himself.
Yeah, and this Junkrat is popping off right now. Shout out Drag947, my Midwest accent coming out there. But I mean, they're able to get a couple of clean picks in the last point, and right here they are able to start the fight with 3 points. And then at the same time, they're able to pick off the Genji early on with help from the Junker Queen. And I mean, we have an ult commit for Mr. Speed there, but what value does that get?
None. Doesn't pin a single player.
We also have Death Blossom and Juno. Okay, Constantine's able to pick off the Juno ult, so that should help to get Carroll a foot in the door here. But this is gonna be a really big Death Blossom.
There it is. Death Blossom comes in. Yep, Death Blossom gets 2.
Wait, the DPS are kind of playing nuts right now for Texas A&M. Maybe they had their monitors off the first 2 games.
That's what it's feeling like. I really would like to see Carroll make a swap here.
Yeah.
I'm fine with the Sojourn from Bruv. There it is. Mr. Speed goes over to the Junker Queen. I think that's the better call. Bruv on the Sojourn is going to work out okay. This is Carroll's bread and butter right here.
Yeah, this is an early tire, I think, just to try and slow Carroll down. I think they're going to be able to maybe touch. I think Bro should be able to get the touch barely. Oh, never mind. Time for more Bruv slander. Bruv, what are you doing?
Yeah, Bruv also dies early. They are able to trade that over the Reaper, which I think is important.
Yeah, Lizard switched to the Mercy, and I like that switch with Bruv on the Sojourn. Able to get that res there means that Carroll should be able to get back here pretty quick. Oh my god, what a knife from Photon Dragon to get Mr. Shpee into the trap. That was crazy.
And noteworthy, as you point out, Lizard doesn't have a res, which means Carroll is not going to win. Texas A&M gets free third point here.
Yeah, they get to start the cap on third point. That being said, their Moira is down, and then the junk rack goes down. So now Carroll's gonna be able to approach this point a little bit more safely.
Yeah. You know, to your point with the Bruv Mercy, the Sojourn Mercy swap with Bruv and Lizard, there it is. I mean, you see Bruv hit another nice right click, and that's the value that we saw in Ilios. I like Carroll going back to this play, especially because it matches up so well against Texas A&M and what they're playing.
Yeah.
Nice knife onto the Moira.
And they're coming into this fight with Valkyrie, and oh, Bruv almost goes down there. He's got to watch his life. Bruv does have the overclock. Is that what Sojourn's ult is called?
Yes, sir.
But that being said, there are 4 ults on the other side for Texas A&M. So I'm interested to see how Texas A&M approaches this team fight, especially the Rampage, which comes out early.
Yeah, Carroll's got 5 though, so I do think Death Blossom is slept thanks to Benny Boy. That plays a critical role. The Juno ult still comes out, and Photon Dragon's able to get a couple of kills. But Carroll is matching in terms of ults here. The problem is G and Benny Boy are both down. Mr. Speed does have ult though. Or is very close to ultimate. Shouldn't need it to win this fight.
Yeah. That is clutch from Carroll. I mean, I honestly think that lead from Benny Boy saves that fight, because that Death Blossom was looking to get at least 2 or 3 picks, and then Carroll, I mean, you can maybe res 1, but you're not resing that many. And Lizard's able to get, I think, a res off in the middle of that fight, so Carroll can come back and Mr. Shpee comes back.
Mr. Shpee. Yep. That is also so important, because otherwise, I think that it takes longer to kill their Junker Queen, and they may have a chance to contest this, whereas Mr. Speed not being around is a problem, and it becomes a 2v4. I think that res is also just another critical element. Carroll clutches up and is able to move on to the next point.
Yeah, 100%. I think, too, it's really important that Texas A&M uses all 4 alts kind of stacked on top of each other there. Oh, and this Junkrat is isolated. This might be tough for this Junkrat. Junkrat seems to be able to... Oh, nope, there goes the knife. Really interesting Rampage from Mr. Shpee there. I mean, maybe to put some more pressure on the Queen, but you're already up in the fight. Yeah, I'm not... If I'm slandering Bruv, I'm slandering Mr. Shpee tonight, too. What was that? Come on, now.
And this goes back, Brady. Remember what we talked about? The one area of improvement that I think Carroll really could look at is timing the ultimate. That is a weird ultimate. You know, they now match. You're gonna have the Tire, which I don't think is, you know, the most valuable ultimate. Definitely prefer the Nano, but it's 1v1 where you could have been using and kind of staggering the Nano and the Rampage in order to win 2 team fights before you ever get any other ultimates online.
Yeah, I don't know if we've actually seen any kills with the Tire yet, so I'm interested to see if we can get a pick with this. Texas A&M can get a pick with this Tire. It's not going to be this fight, I'll tell you that much.
Well, do you see right there? Could you imagine if Bruv had, or if Mr. Speed had Rampage? I would have been just clean as could be.
Yeah, that would have been an easy 5-piece. Mr. Speed does manage to kill a lot there, though.
Basically all 5 anyway.
Yeah, but like, who cares? You know what I mean? It's still not technically right. You know what I mean? I'm still mad about it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Mr. Speed almost having ult again is nuts.
Well, I think he gets at least 4, if not all 5 on that last one when Benny Boy hits him with the Nano.
Yeah. Benny Boy has actually, I think, been my MVP tonight. Like, he has been playing out of his mind. His cooldowns have been so good. The nanos have been so good. Except for when they go to Bruv on Genji. But that's not a him thing. That's a Bruv thing. You know what I mean? And we have another Rampage coming out, which is crazy that it's already online again.
That's a Rampage I like. I like that one.
That's got the Brady and Josh seal of approval on it.
They let the Juno get away on literally 1 health. Disappointed in Mr. Speed there. And to your point, Benny Boy has been consistent through and through tonight. You've seen individual moments of brilliance from Mr. Speed, from Bruv, from
Have we seen individual moments of brilliance from Bruv tonight?
Yes, Bruv on first point.
Okay, yeah. True.
First map.
First map, yeah.
But Benny Boy has been an all-star in every game that they've played so far. Benny Boy's gotta take that MVP. It's already decided.
We do have Rampage coming in. That's able to get 2, and we've got the Tire coming in as well. I feel like the Tire should be able to get a pick. They do collapse onto Benny Boy, which I think is smart. I think Texas A&M needs to put pressure on Benny Boy because Benny Boy is getting so much consistent value.
Yep.
This ends now.
Bruv is popping ult into this. This might be an ego thing. I'm not super sure. That's kind of a really questionable ult to me. I mean, there are 2 there, right? So there's Bruv and there's Lizard, but I don't think Bruv clutches that like that.
Carroll and the quest for questionable ults.
Yeah.
Like that could be their team name, man.
That's also tough because like that's an ult you would really like to have coming into this team fight now because it's 40-40, and if you lose this team fight where they have Death Blossom, Juno ult, and Moira Coalesce, and Constant Rhyme goes down early, you're looking at potentially losing this map.
Yeah, Constant Rhyme's ult out. Death Blossom looking for value here. The other issue to this is like Bruv's ult. This is probably the best point on the entire map for Bruv's ult.
Yeah, that being said, it seems like Carroll is kind of winning the fight. I mean, the Texas A&M's Juno go down, which is I think a critical mistake. I think they need to pop Coalesce to keep that alive. Bruv does go down, but the thing is, this entire time Texas A&M has had control.
Exactly. And you know, Mr. Speed gets off a great ultimate. Oh man, and then there goes Constant Rhyme and Valkyrie. Again, Carroll just overcommits. Okay, all right. I'm taking back. The Reaper wins the award for most questionable ult tonight. I don't know what that Death Blossom was, but
Reaper was feeling themselves.
Like, I think they were already in a 5v3 or 5v2 when Lizard and Bruv both popped their ultimates.
I think the key fight the key ultimate is going to be this Juno ultimate, right? I think I probably would have popped Juno ult a little bit earlier last fight to try and get the value out of it, and now they have an anti onto their Junker Queen. Oh my god!
Benny Boy gets it.
Wait, Mr. Spee with the 4-person axe is nuts. All right, Carroll clutches up at the very end, which, you know, good for them. But I think that we started to see like maybe a little bit of overconfidence from Carroll.
And whether it's, I don't know if it was the overconfidence, because we've seen this in games they win, in games they lose. Like against a better team, they don't win that last one. The ultimate decisions were questionable.
That axe was not questionable though. Holy cow.
No. But let me offer an important point here. That axe came off of the Benny Boy anti-nade and nano boost. It all comes back to Benny Boy tonight. Benny Boy's your MVP without a doubt, no question about it. It was a great performance from Carroll, but Benny Boy stood just, you know, head and shoulders above everybody in the lobby tonight.
Yeah, I actually just got a message from Bruv that says Steven, Mr. Spee gets interviewed. I'm overruling him, and I'm saying that Benny Boy gets interview. Because Mr. Spee played Ryan, and we can't encourage that kind of behavior. But we're gonna take a quick pause, and we'll be back in a few with Benny Boy for an interview. All right, what is up, everyone? We are back with Josh and I's selection for MVP tonight, Benny Boy. Also, you'll see that I am on camera and Benny Boy is on camera, but Josh does not have a camera right now.
Sorry.
So you all don't get to look at his beautiful face, but hopefully next week you get to see it.
I'll get it set up.
It is a tragedy. It is a tragedy. But we were talking about your cooldowns a lot tonight. We thought you were getting a lot of value out of the biotic grenades as well as the sleeps and the nanos. Except for when you nano Brubbed while he was blading, we didn't think that was maybe the best. But like,
trust me, on my end, I was yelled at quite a bit for that one. That was a pick. I know I screwed up there, but
what do you think?
Yeah,
was like the key to being able to keep everyone alive tonight? Because it felt like Blizzard was really pocketing the Sojourn, and then you were able to keep Mr. Spee and Constant Rhyme up. So how do you think you were able to manage that so effectively tonight?
The main thing is, like you said, like the cooldown management, biotic grenade. Not only do you get value like out of healing people, but usually whenever someone gets anti, especially at like metal ranks and kind of lower ranks, people just immediately get scared and back off. So knowing this, you're able to really like box out people. Like if Steven's getting a lot of pressure on him, you can just throw an anti down on like the front line, and everyone usually gives them enough space just to get him healed back to full.
You start out on Ilios against a dive comp, and you as the Ana are clearly going to be the primary target for that. What was the strategy in case you ran up against dive, and to how you were going to answer and be prepared for that?
On my end, it's just I had to be really conscious of my positioning, but the main thing is like just calling it out, and like as long as everyone else responds to comms pretty quickly, like usually dive isn't an issue for us. And you know, it helps if I can hit it like a sleep or something, but normally it's just good comms. That's what like really shuts down dive at like these lower ranks.
Yeah, definitely. We felt like the first two maps, alts were generally pretty solid, and Bruv told me before the game that you guys were looking to really kind of manage your alts well tonight. But it seemed like the third map, is kind of where it fell apart. Do you want to talk about a little bit about like maybe your communications during the third map, what was going on there?
I would just say for like the first couple points, ult management, it was not ideal, like especially on my end. I think like I did a better job at like building them, especially in the earlier, like the first couple matches. So, and what was it? Oh yeah, the first couple points, I definitely ulted a little bit too late. That was probably the big thing. Like the fights were already like won or lost, and it just kind of was a waste. We didn't get as much value as I did like the first couple times.
Who do you consider to be your primary ultimate or your primary nano target when you're playing Ana with your typical team compositions?
Just the best player on the team, Steven. You make him blue, you win. It's simple. I
mean, we saw Mr. Spee play a number of tanks tonight. Have you guys been practicing the Rhine and the Hazard in comps? Also, I know we saw your Sombra last week. Will we get to see that again at some point?
Oh man, I sure hope so, but it's still kind of a work in progress. You know, it's not going to be all the time, especially like if we go like a really heavy dive comp, maybe I'll switch on the Sombra and we can see like someone else switch on the support, but I'll probably be sticking to like Ana most of the time. And then in practice, Steven's been, you know, working on Hazard quite a bit, I'd say. Haven't seen too much run, but you know, like with the maps and stuff.
That's probably a good thing.
It was like just a good pick for the map. I think that was the main thinking there.
Sure.
You make a swap this year into the different division, getting to play, you know, in what is obviously a little bit more competitive for you guys. What would you say are Carroll's aspirations for what this season's going to hold?
Oh, what else besides the championship, right?
What else?
Like,
love the attitude.
I mean, we want to like just win every game this season. I honestly think it's very possible, especially with how these first couple of games went. Like this third game, we really shouldn't have won it, to be entirely honest. Like we
I'm
played,
glad we're saying that because I thought so too.
like I'll keep it real. We kind of threw a little bit the first part right there, but we managed to hold it together, which is really promising. And I think, if it's like that the rest of the season, like that level of competition with the rest of these teams, I don't see why we can't at least pull out a win every week.
Yeah.
Going into practice this week, what do you consider to be an area that you want to smooth over, work on, patch up, improve?
Oh, my ults are terrible. Like,
I don't think that's true.
well, at least I feel like I've gotten way better with like anti-nade and sleep over time, but like definitely where I have the most room for improvement was ults. Like there's a ton of times in practice where it's just like a little bit too late or a little bit maybe a little too early, like lack of communication with my ults. So
Sure.
I think that's just the number one thing I still got to work on, and that I've been working on.
Good. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us and to chat with us after the game. Congratulations again on the win. And Josh and I are excited to see the upcoming wins for Carroll in the next few weeks.
Absolutely.
That's all from us tonight. I think we have to end as we always do. I think we all have to say "Go Saints." You know what I mean? As Dr. John Seck does. So go Saints.
Go Saints.
Go Saints, baby.
And thanks for tuning in, everyone. We will be back next week around the same time with another game. Should be another exciting match. Hopefully, Carroll 3-0s again. I did say, I just dropped the candle off my desk. I'm so sorry, everyone. But I did say before the third map, I was like, this is the last map. We're going to be done. And it turned out true. So hopefully we come back with another 3-0 next week. And thank you, everyone, for tuning in.